These days, most people are staying at home. A lot of people are also scared and anxious, but some people are using their creativity to do some good to themselves and to other people. As a creator, I face the following challenge. Do I make content that addresses the current lockdown situation and health crisis? Or do I go on and make content about books as I usually do? I have one rule of thumb for my channel. As much as I'd like as many people as possible to watch my videos, I only ever publish content that I would want to watch myself. I have been in lockdown for way over a month. I am doing well, and thankfully so is everyone I know. I'm no stranger to staying at home. I usually work from home anyway, but life is different now. I'm no longer alone at home all the time, and I live in a small apartment, so I have to make certain adjustments. As for my channel, early on, I thought I'd make extra content. If you're new to my channel, by the way, I put out a weekly video every Saturday. But in the first couple of weeks in lockdown, I made extra videos that I released during the week for those first couple of weeks, including my first ever attempt at vlogging, which went kind of like this. But anyway, making videos is something that takes time, a lot more time than you probably think. It takes several hours of preparation just beforehand. Then there's the shooting, and that can be a lot of fun if everything goes well, but it can also be a bit of a nightmare. And then I have to do all the editing and everything that I have to kind of twig so that you get something watchable, at least watchable. And as for the kind of content, I've decided to make the same kind of videos I usually make. My hope is that I can offer you a few minutes of distraction from what is going on, but I can only hope. Today's video is going to be a bit different. I am going to do the stay-at-home tag created by Ariel Bizet. I haven't done a tag in a while, and there's a reason for that. I think that most booktube tags are either too repetitive or they don't fit into how I approach reading. Some of those tags have questions like, what was the last book with a cow on the cover you read? And I'm sorry, but I'm never gonna do tags like that. But this tag, the stay-at-home tag, has some fresh and fun questions about books and reading that I think everyone, no matter what kinds of books you read or how you approach reading, could do. Also, I recently saw Eric at Lonesome Reader do this tag, and I liked his answers. So here are mine. The first question is, how is your reading going while staying home? Well, at first, I was afraid that anxiety and a break to my usual routine would get in the way of my reading. But luckily, that didn't happen. Any early anxiety I might have experienced seems to have subsided. Fingers crossed that it stays like that. And while my reading routine, my daily routine actually has changed some, I still have several hours a day that I can devote to just reading. There are days when I read a lot less than others, but at least I have not fallen into the trap of wailing away the hours in front of the TV or the computer, or the phone, or my iPad. You know, I might stream something to have in the background while I nap, and I do nap every other day, but I only really watch something properly in the evenings, usually a classic movie or a documentary, and not every evening. Some evenings, most evenings I think, I read until I go to bed. Now, this may be an unpopular opinion, as they say on social media, but I don't watch a lot of series. I think series are a rabbit hole that would kill all your productivity and affect your reading negatively if you let it. I may change routines, but I always make sure that reading is part of any new routine I begin. Reading is really as much a habit as anything else. So, you know, I try to make sure that I don't break that healthy habit. Now, the next question is, where have you been reading at home? This question is funny because nothing has changed in terms of where I read. I only read at home anyway, so being in lockdown is no different. Home is the best place for me to read. I always read on the couch or on my armchair that you can see there behind me, either sitting up or lying down. Why? Because I can spend several hours in a row reading, so I need to be as comfortable as possible. Let's move on to the next question. What is the best book you've read during isolation? I've read some great books during isolation, and they are all quite different. Just to narrow it down, I'm going to add something to this question. I'm going to add a recent book. And then what is the best recent book that you've read? I would have to say Duck's Newbery Report by Lucy Ellman. I started this novel in December last year, but only finished it last month. It's a really long book, and I read it really slowly. But as I read on, I found it so compelling that I probably read the second half in a lot less time than I did the first half. It occurs to me that getting involved in a long book, it doesn't have to be this one, it can be any long book, might just do the trick for a lot of people in isolation right now. But I wouldn't just recommend Duck's Newbery Report because it is long. I recommend it because it is excellent. It's one of the best books I've read in years. In case you don't know, Duck's Newbery Report is a stream of consciousness narrative in which a housewife from Ohio reflects on her life and explores the themes of 21st century life in America. This novel has haunted me ever since I put it down. And I often wonder what its narrator would make of the current crisis and the US government's response to it. I found this to be remarkable, my response to it, because that had never happened with any other book. But if you prefer short books, stay tuned because I have a few suggestions for you before the end of this video. Okay, next question. What's your favorite feel-good book? I don't know what a feel-good book is. Reading, whatever I read, always makes me feel good. I'm not a big fan of rereading, or I'm not big on it. I don't do it that much. But there are a few books that I have read more than once and I know that I would read again. For example, Gilead, Home and Lila by Marilynne Robinson. Gilead is a book that always soothes me out. So if that is what it's meant by a feel-good book, then Gilead would be my answer to this question. Next question is, what is the book you wish you could buy or borrow from the library? Now let's see. I haven't visited my local library in about a year. In theory, I support libraries and I think they are great. In practice, however, I live in a Spanish-speaking country, but I mostly read books in English. So that means that I don't often get the kind of books I like stocked in libraries. So for that, I use Script, which I recommend if you're into ebooks or audiobooks. This is not sponsored content, by the way, I wish. Also, I've been buying books from the Book Depository recently. They have a solid stock of books and they deliver free of charge worldwide. Delivery times are not as quick as I'd like, but considering that we're living through a global crisis, I'm surprised they're still sending out books and I'm grateful for it. I got a delivery last month and I hope to get a new one this week. So, with all those services available to me, I don't miss using the library and I can buy any books I want to anyway online. Now, the final question is, what is the author you want to shout out during this time? This is a weird question because a lot of the authors I read are dead. So, would it be weird if I said Italo Calvino or José Saramago? There are so many great authors, dead or alive. It occurs to me that this stay-at-home situation can be the perfect excuse for delving into the work of great writers. I realize that not everyone has more free time these days, but a lot of people do, so why not come up with a new reading project? One of my favorite kinds of reading projects is the ones that involve reading the works of one author. Now, I can approach that kind of project in one of two ways. I can either read his or her works in chronological order, or if it is a completely new author to me, so new to me author, I can find out his or her most acclaimed books and then start with those. So if you have been staying home for the last few weeks and want to do this tag, go ahead. If you have your own YouTube channel, feel free to shoot a video. And if you don't have a channel, you can always answer the prompts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear back from you and know how you're doing during these difficult times. And if you want suggestions for short books, click up here. And for some great books in translation, click down here. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.